La parole est à Madame Karapetyan, Naira.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dear colleagues, I would like to use this platform to talk about the position of one of the member states of our organization, which is directly opposed to that system of values on which the Council of Europe and modern European civilization are founded. Here the participants are well informed of never-ending and increasingly growing anti-Armenian and racist rhetoric of Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev and the Azerbaijani leadership, as just we have seen also Azerbaijani MPs. However, the official Baku has recently started to disseminate public intolerance towards the whole Europe as well. A few weeks ago, on September 15, being unable to give any reasonable and rational explanation to the question related to the country's corruption and massive human rights violations, the violence and arrest towards the political opponents, journalists and public figures, President Ilham Aliyev poured out a torrent accusation on Europe and the European values. Europe, which has faced today the difficult problems of thousands of refugees, is trying to cope with honor and implements all the measures defined in the law, while the concept of law is alien to Azerbaijan. Before throwing dirt on Europe and European values, the president of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, had better improve his people's conditions who have become refugees in the result of the war unleashed by Azerbaijan, but not to keep them as prisoners of his own policy. To the insemination of the hatred towards the Armenians also serve the territorial claims that the Azerbaijan has repeatedly voiced against Armenia, Representative Yerevan and several other regions of Armenia having over 2,800-old-year history as Azerbaijani lands. In particular, the announcement made during the 5th summit of heads of Turkic-speaking states, Ilham Aliyev declared that Armenia's south is watershed between the Turkish-speaking countries and hampers their cooperation. Such irresponsible announcements significantly increase the tension in the region and are opposed to the values of peace, solidarity, and tolerance. At the end of the speech, let me address those screaming examples of aggression that took place on September 25th at the Armenian-Azerbaijani border villages of Armenia. Already several times, Azerbaijan is appealing a new provocation before the important meeting of the negotiation process on Nagorno-Karabakh conflict settlement talks, this time taking the civilians as the main target. The firing by the Azerbaijan side resulted in the death of 3 Armenian civilians, 3 women and 4 were injured. That the systemically violator of the ceasefire agreement signed in 1994 is Azerbaijan is not a secret for anybody nowadays. The OSCE Minsk Group co-chairs also discussed it in their joint statement on January this year. In general, during this year, the Azerbaijani armed forces were silent only during the European Games held in Baku. And is this the tolerance, multiculturalism, and other noble values which declares Aliyev? I think all of us should be concerned over the fact that the Azerbaijani authorities address own society's fair demands of country reforms by creating an image of external enemy, at the same time seeing that the role of both Armenia and Armenian people, and now also the European institution. This year, we are celebrating the 70th anniversary of the end of Second World War. We're analyzing the causes of that war, and we had better have a precedent approach towards any expression of intolerance, hatred, and aggression, and not allow them to lead the repetition of new tragedies. Thank you.
Merci, Madame Karapetyan.